Sit back, relax and enjoy listening. The members gathered around RK, their faces etched with worry. Despite their efforts, he remained motionless. Jill spoke firmly, "We don't give up. He's always been there for us." Member 3 nodded, determination in his eyes. "Right. RK wouldn't abandon us if the roles were reversed." Member 4 crouched beside RK, speaking softly, "We'll figure this out together. Just give us a sign." But RK didn't move, their concern growing with each failed attempt. As the members continued trying to make RK speak, their CEO entered the hallway from behind. Seeing how the members looked so worried and gathered around RK, he approached, walking closer to look at him. The members noticed him. "Sir," Member 2 exclaimed, his voice tinged with a mix of relief and desperation. The others immediately turned to look at the CEO, their eyes silently begging for direction, for hope. "Sir RK, he won't speak," Jill stammered, his voice trembling. "We've tried everything. He's not reacting. Please, sir, say something to him. He'll listen to you, won't he?" The CEO crouched slightly to RK's level, his gaze scanning RK's face for any trace of response. He didn't see the usual spark in RK's eyes, the quiet determination that always defined him. Instead, he saw a man weighed down by something immeasurable. He placed a hand on RK's shoulder, his touch firm yet gentle. "RK," he said softly, leaning closer. "It's me. We're here for you. Whatever it is, you don't have to bear it alone." RK didn't flinch, didn't blink. His gaze remained glued to the floor, his body as still as a statue. The CEO's throat tightened, and he let out a quiet sigh, masking his growing concern. Turning his attention to the others, he straightened and raised a calming hand. "Guys," the CEO said, his voice calm, "I know you're all worried, but pushing him won't help. He needs space." He looked around the room, meeting their anxious eyes. "He'll be okay. Let's just give him some breathing room." Jill's voice cracked. "What if?" "I know," the CEO interrupted gently, "but this isn't helping. Trust me. Let's step back." Reluctantly, the members nodded, and they moved only a few steps back, just enough to give RK the space the CEO requested, while staying close enough to keep an eye on him. The CEO glanced at RK and asked members, "Does anyone know who that girl is?" The room fell silent for a moment, the question hanging heavily in the air, as everyone looked at each other. Member 3 finally broke the silence. "No, sir. We don't know anything about her." "Who is she? When did she and RK meet?" "Nothing." Member 4 said, "Yeah, we've almost always been with RK. We never saw this girl before." Member 1 added, "If there's something like that, RK said something. But he never talked about any girl like her." The CEO nodded thoughtfully. "Oh, okay. But we need to find out everything about her." Before anyone could respond, a soft voice broke through the room. "I met her at the foreign party event." Everyone froze, their eyes snapping to RK. He hadn't moved an inch, his body still rigid and lifeless, but his voice, though faint, was unmistakable. RK's gaze remained fixed on the floor as he continued, his tone flat and devoid of emotion. "She asked me to dance with her. I refused at first, but she insisted. So I agreed." The room was deathly quiet as RK's words sunk in. The CEO exchanged a glance with Jill, both of them unsure of what to say. RK's voice cut through the silence again. "The next day, I ran into her at the mall. We spent some time together." And just like that, RK fell silent again. His head dipped slightly, and his hands clenched into fists, as if the weight of the memories was too much to bear. As flashbacks started to play in his head, Jill rushed to his side, placing a hand on his shoulder. "RK, it's okay. You don't have to say anything else. Just stay with us." But RK didn't respond. His breathing grew uneven, his body trembling slightly. The CEO frowned, turning to Jill. "Did anyone call a doctor?" "I did," Jill replied quickly. "He should be here any moment." As if on cue, the door opened, and the doctor walked in, carrying a medical bag. He quickly set up his equipment, checking RK's vitals with precision. "He's running a very high fever," the doctor said gravely, "and his stress levels are through the roof. This is a critical state of mind. If this continues, it could have severe consequences." "What do we do?" Jill asked, his voice shaking. "He hasn't eaten anything, and he won't react to anything we say." The doctor sighed, preparing a sedative. He needs rest more than anything right now. This will help him sleep. The needle entered RK's arm, and he didn't react. The members watched as the sedative took effect, his eyes closing as exhaustion overtook him. They gently laid him on the couch, adjusting a pillow under his head. Even asleep, RK's face remained troubled, his brows furrowed as if in a nightmare. The doctor packed up his bag, turning to the CEO. Keep an eye on him. He needs rest, and no one should disturb him. I'll check back in the morning. The CEO nodded, thanking the doctor as he left. The room was quiet again, the only sound the soft, uneven breathing of RK. The CEO sighed deeply, running a hand through his hair. Why RK? Of all the people in this world, why him, God? He is the most innocent, kind-hearted person I've ever known. What did he do to deserve this? Member 2 clenched his fists. The world knows RK would never do anything wrong. Why does he even have to prove it? The CEO gave him a sad smile. You're right, but the world doesn't work that way. The media twists everything, making it harder for the truth to come out. Member 2 asked again, can't we do anything then? The CEO replied, I met some of the country's top lawyers, and they all said it's almost impossible to get out of this, as all the evidence is against RK. Jill's voice was desperate. Isn't there any answer? The lawyer must have suggested something. The CEO hesitated, his expression grim. They did. But what did they say? Member 1 pressed, leaning forward anxiously. Just say it. We can do anything for our brother. The CEO took a deep breath, steeling himself. They said we need to gather every piece of footage from those 3 days, showing everything RK did. But what? Member 1 asked urgently. She already has footage, the CEO said quietly, his voice heavy with frustration. Footage of RK and her entering a hotel room together. A silence fell over the room, thick with disbelief. The weight of the words seemed to hang in the air, suffocating them. That's all? Member 5 asked, his voice quiet, but filled with a mix of confusion and disbelief. He couldn't understand how this could be the only solution. The CEO shook his head, his eyes tired and worn, as if the weight of the situation had aged him. And the last option they suggested. They said if the girl changes her statement, RK might have a chance. The room erupted in shocked exclamations. What? Member 3 exclaimed, his eyes wide, unable to comprehend the absurdity of the situation. If she has to change her statement, why did she make it in the first place? The room fell silent again. Each of them was caught in their own thoughts, the reality of their predicament slowly sinking in. The silence was heavy now, like a dark cloud that refused to lift. Their minds raced, but no solutions were coming. The weight of the situation pressed down on them all, suffocating any hope. The storm was only growing stronger, and none of them could see the light beyond it.